On this note, we welcome Sneha. Sneha is one of the founders of Samudra Networks. As the name says, she want to build network of farmer producer organizations. So, I mean, majorly focusing on two areas. The first and foremost important today's topic is digitization of FPOs, so that they can have a data at one place to, to handle it or to use the data. Second, creating a market linkages network so that they can get better prices and everything. So we welcome Sneha. Sneha is one of our cohort, second cohort grantees as well as incubator with us. We're happy that she is part of our ecosystem. Sneha on personal level has a huge experience of building great products. She has worked for multiple global giants, and she worked for organizations and clients where help her to build a great products. With that experience, she has come to this field and building this great product, which is helping farmer producer organizations. They're already on the ground. They're working with farmers. She's here to share her experiences, how they're planning to expand this company to the other areas, and what are her experiences, how you can help her and how she can help you in this regard. We welcome on this note, Sneha, over to you.
Thank you so much. Very, very happy to be here. I'm so happy to be part of team Manage family, so to speak. We've had fantastic experience working, being an incubator of Manage. So I'm terribly happy to share any learnings we have, as well as getting into any questions, any details anybody has. We would be very happy to pass it forward and make sure everybody, all FPOs, all farmers are able to benefit from what we are building. Essentially, we firmly believe that if we are able to build something of value is when we all succeed. So terribly excited to be here. I'll share my screen and walk you through for about 20 minutes, walk you through what we have done and how we're structuring what our vision is going forward. And I'll pause after that for any questions, and we'll be very happy to take any questions, even if you feel midway you want to ask anything, we'll be happy to take it. Just give me a minute and I'm sharing screen. Do let me know if you're able to see my screen. Is it visible? I will
yes,
put it on present.
Yes, done.
Excellent.
All good. All good.
Thank
good
you. Thank you. Just to give a quick background, we started working on Samudra for now about almost 4 years, actually. We incorporated our organizations about a year and a half ago. In the beginning, we just were group of people who had the passion that we want to do something for our country, for people who are underserved from digital perspective. So our belief was there is a lot of urban businesses, urban constructs, industries, bigger and huge scale, which have benefited from digitization, going and doing work together as a online cloud, data driven, all of those things. And we believe that there is a large segment of our countries and Southeast Asian countries, a large part of the world, let us say, which are not benefited from digitization. So we started from that core premise that there has to be simple mobile tools that all of us can use, and because we are all using, the ecosystem and the aggregation will help each player. That has been our foundational belief, and that is from where we have been working. In the course of our journey, we got introduced to NGOs which are working in the agri world, working for FPOs, and they posed a question back to us, said that, hey, our entrepreneurs, our small businesses, micro businesses are agri focused, will you be doing something for that? So we started really our journey 3.5 years ago. From there, we are external people like Sir rightly mentioned, we come from outside of the agri industry, but we carry with us the knowledge of how to build products, and we come with a passion that we are here to serve people who are not served as of date, right? So from that perspective, we are now, as we started our organization, we have been focused on FPOs. So that journey has led us to FPOs, and we said, yes, this institution, an agricultural institution that is residing in the villages, in next to the farms, are institutions which can actually build the next agri sort of ecosystem. And we have constantly, so when we started, we put FPOs at the center of our thought process, of our vision, and we have been working from there onwards. So for the last 3 years, but we are incorporated only for 2 years. Again, just to sort of pause on it, we want to build digital, we want to bring digital technology and create ecosystem constructs, right, where all the players are connected with each other, and we believe that such systems are can bring value to every player in the ecosystem. So we firmly believe that things have to be so digital brings transparency, digital brings digital trust, ability to work with players who you have not met, and we believe that FPOs and cooperatives and producer organizations can actually leverage this technology. I think sir already mentioned about us. I'll just pause, not on me, but I'll pause on my co-founder. My co-founder brings 17 years experience in building mobile first products. He has worked for one of the first digital payments, mobile-based payments, the M-Pesa, which is very popular, and it sort of transformed mobile payments across the world. It is one of the core case studies everybody looks at when they're looking at digital online mobile payments. He's also worked with in India Post in trying to figure out payment banks, etc. He brings fintech and digital technology experience to Samudra. I myself have been a graduate from IIT Bombay, postgraduate from IIT Bombay. I bring in ability to build new products, conceptualizing what could be the next generation products, looking at what has been the trends, where will the world move towards, and our focus has always been on who are the people whom we build these products for, and what is the value that any company can bring over there, which is exponential, right? Which it has to bring so much value that the company or the product will only will be happy, or the people who benefit from that would be happy to share a fraction of the value that they derive. So that has been our focus, and trying to understand every player has to have benefit. It's not top down. We are very bottom up focused in our thinking. So in this discussion, I'll just focus on a couple of things where we believe farmers and FPOs can work together. We know I think I might sound very I might sound very pompous when I say this, but we have worked with FPOs and farmers for the last 2-3 years, and there is nothing to compare with people who have worked for 20 years. But we have gone to the field, we've worked with people, we've sat on trades, we've sat next to them on their mobile phones, sat next to them on their computers, understood what the difficulties are, and that is how we bring that core bottom learning. And this is some of our own reflections of how we think a farmer or a FPO can benefit from digitization. So we all know what FPOs are, so I'm not going to bother too much on that. But there are certain constructs which I think the farmers need to be aware when they join an FPO. They are joining an institution, and institution of course requires money, but it also requires support. It requires that they participate in the FPO, they trust the FPO, and the FPO is still is still a nascent institution in our country and perhaps across the world. A farmer producer group as focused on business, focused on profit is still nascent. So there is no playbook that an FPO can use and say, okay, this is what is going to get us success. So each of the FPO is looking at what are the farmers growing, or what is it that they can add value, and how is it that they can bring the value back to the farmers. So in this journey, it is imperative that the farmers are taking this journey along with the FPO, and therefore it is important that the farmers understand that this is a journey and it is not a transaction. It is not that today I get 5 rupees more for my my ginger or my ragi. Nobody gets 5 rupees more, it's 50 paisa more for my ragi, and that is where I go. But actually this is a construct of an institution building, and to be aware that is going to take time and to hold out is actually a crucial role of the farmer. The farmer is also making sure that they are able to hold the FPO as an institution accountable, because FPO starts to become, in the agri ecosystem, one of the first organized players, right? They are, as structurally they are organized players. They are accountable, they pay taxes, they're bringing organization into agricultural industry, while it has been mainly in traders and millers. And I mean, nothing to say anything about that the value they bring, the value the traders and each player in the ecosystem brings is tremendous. But FPOs also can actually, with the focus that the farmers are what do you call it, benefit. It's one of the institutions that worries about retaining value at the farm gate and at the rural institution level, and that is what is going to take time. Coming back, we believe that the digitization for farmers is going to be a game changer. Right, today there is a lot of distrust, there is a lot of worry in the ecosystem. There is a lot of someone who is an urban person who brings briefcases of money, who somehow can they can convince and they can sell, or they can trade with. Is a glimmer of hope each of these farmers carry. But working with an institution means that the farmer comes to a level playing field. We believe that the farmer should have knowledge of what is the rates for ragi. If I'm growing ragi, throughout my journey of growing ragi, I need to be able to watch the prices. I need to be able to understand what is selling better, what is the quality of the produce that I am getting, and therefore where can I peg this at, and not be at the mercy of somebody else whose goal is focused on their own profits. And unfortunately, the way a lot of these systems are built is they are very manipulative. They are there to convince the farmer that their produce quality is low, while on the other side try and make the best out of the deal. We believe that kind of structure should while it may have run till now, the next decade is not going to be that kind of structure. That kind of structure is where multiple players should actually trust each other to the level that I should be willing to share my constructs of profit. So this is one of the top things we bring in, and we believe that the farmers can actually benefit with this, right? The knowledge of the prices, the knowledge of working with players on your mobile phone, understanding what you're growing, tracking what you're growing along with the FPO. These are all important tasks which we believe the farmers are able to do and have great capability. They have core knowledge, and they should be able to they should be able to even guide peer group as to what worked for them, what did not work for them. So this is where we have as a vision where it can go, and we believe foundation of this, how the farmers will join the digital ecosystem, is via the FPO, because FPO can hold this, and all of these we believe should get leveraged to the farmers. They should be able to see this on their app, see this on the web, get connected via SMSs and WhatsApp as and when things become important and relevant for them. Both push, in terms of our application should be able to push information which is relevant for them, as well as pull, as and when they require some information, they should be able to access this pool of knowledge and get the right information that will help them. And going forward, we believe, and we do not think that this is today, but we think these are foundational rails that needs to be built. But going forward, we believe even online trade and online payments can happen on digitized platforms. We know that is already happening. We know the government is doing a lot of effort in making this happen. We believe that we are simple, small players, but we have the vision, we have the passion to make this happen. Coming to FPO's goals, FPO is a little bit different from a farmer, right? The FPO should be focused on a business. We should be focused on constructs of profit, and that is a little bit hard today to see in the ecosystem. And it is structurally, because it is a complex construct. It's a bunch of farmers coming together to be able to say that somewhere in the future this institution can be built and will benefit you. Till then, hold out, be patient, continue to work with the FPC, even if it means it's 50 paisa less in the market, is very difficult conversations to have, and it is a humongous task. All of us are sort of aware, but nevertheless, FPO is focused on trying to build profits, right? FPO is a nascent institution, and the people who participate, who form the core of agri trade, are not people who knew trade till now, right? If you look at a miller or a trader, they have great leverage. They have they probably have fathers and grandfathers who have been doing trade till now. They know tamarind. If they touch a tamarind in the middle of the night, they'll be able to quote a price for it because they know what that means. But FPO staff, FPO folks, farmers are not yet aware of what is the value of the thing that they grow, what is the value of the produce that comes to that market, because a trader, a miller, a buyer is attributing value for this, and we are largely a supply driven market. We have to start also becoming a demand driven market, and we believe that again digitization plays a core core role in creating a demand driven marketplace. Again, we believe that we need to help and create digitization constructs which are very similar to, let's say, take a fitness construct, right? Where an app today on your mobile phone will tell you you walked 10 kilometers and this is great for your health. We need to have similar constructs for an agribusiness that says you did so much of trade for your business, and this is how it is going to help you, or this is great for today, this week, this month. These are the constructs on which we are building a lot of these things, including things like how do you help FPOs do cleaning, grading, sorting, packaging. So as we are in this ecosystem, we are slowly building constructs which are digital, which an FPO can just leverage by joining our application, of course, can leverage even things that they did not do till now. We would have guidelines, steps, workflows that help them do these processes. So even just knowing that they can do this, knowing that there is a community of people who can help them do this, knowing that at the end of doing this there is a buyer that we will connect them with, are things we believe are going to help FPOs retain value at farm and farm gate. All right. our digitization tools itself already allows the FPOs to have all farmer data at their fingertips on their mobile phone when they visit the farmer. So an FPO staff can quickly look up the farmer name, understand how often the farmer has traded with them, have they even worked with them at all, and encourage them to participate, know what they are growing. The field staff are able to visit the farmer at the farm gate, understand what each of them are growing. We are able to help them with constructs such as 3 months once, 6 months once, surveys to understand what the crops are growing. But we know that FPO staff are they don't have staff. They're not like an NGO which has 50 member staff, which is supported by funder donor money, which can go to the farm and collect the baseline data. So we have to again turn this over and start and creating constructs where the farmer can actually say what they are growing or what stage that they are in, so that the aggregation for the FPO becomes easier and easier. And we have seen that once the information is available, we are able to give things like, this week these are the 5 farmers or these are the 15 farmers who are bringing so much of crop to your you have access to so much of crop, and these are the people, these are their phone numbers, so you can call them, right? This doing in pen and paper is an impossible task. It is already set up for failure on pen and paper. So we believe that digital is the way to make all of these data aggregated in a manner that the FPOs can work on things that bring success for them, and automated processes should take care of everything else. When I say automated processes, digital processes such as sending SMSs when a sale is made, aggregating what are all the items, the farmer to be able to connect on their app what has been my transaction, literally like a bank passbook, right? The farmer should be able to see what is my FPO passbook, how have I transacted, right? All of these we believe are rails for various ecosystem partners like credit institutions, like knowledge partners, like various things which have till now been working in silos. We believe has an opportunity to do the best that they know, which can all get aggregated together. So I'm just going to pause. I think I can get very passionate when I'm talking about this, but I'll quickly run. We all know FPO is not a farmer, FPO is not a trader. The kind of activities that they are doing is very different, and to be aware that these are the battles that we are fighting is an important part of being able to fight it well. Expectation management with the farmers, FPOs has huge task, right? We see this every day as we try and bring market linkages to the FPOs. We see that there is a big buildup that happens when we go talk to the farmer, and the farmer expects that they will get a very big price. And when we come back and try and talk to the buyer expects that because you're an FPO, you give me better price than a trader, right? This has been a constant challenge we've been seeing, and expectation management across the value system, that this is not how things can change. Focus on relationships has been the work that we've been doing across each of these value chains. And anyway, sharing this price is a huge thing. I think everyone who speaks on agri, people like Dr. Tagat, who are on boards of Samudra will, sorry, not on Samudra, on Samanati, I will tell you that pricing is a big challenge, right? So across the industry, understanding price, understanding what to buy it at, what to sell it at is a huge challenge. It's a big challenge even for people like buyers. So people without tools, without digitization, without a construct that helps them how to even interpret this data. You may see a graph, but what does that mean? How do you interpret it? Should you buy it for less, or should you buy it for more? Should you wait up? Should you decide what is the cost of waiting? What is the warehousing cost? What are all of these things? Are all complex things which are very difficult or practically impossible to make any profits if you're doing by manually. Again, FPO is not a trader. To be able to give visibility, to be able to stand apart from a regular miller is the opportunity that the FPO has. An opportunity that the FPO has is to be able to tell the buyer, these are the 5 people who I bought this from this Ramu Kaka who lives in this village is the guy who gave this produce to you. So FPO has this tremendous ability via digitization to be able to bring transparency, which is where we believe the entire world is moving towards. Today, consumers, which are very top quality consumers who have the ability to buy the top quality products are asking those questions of where is this produce, is it organic or not, what have been the practices. This trend is not going to remain only at the top people, it's going to move to everybody is going to. Today we know in corona times how everything is become important to be able to know and to be aware and to make the decisions based on that knowledge. So we believe that in the next 10 years, every person will want to know where my produce came from, what went into it, how did you grow it, and then make the decision whether I want to purchase it or not. Today, it is entirely opaque, right? You have to trust that somebody says that this is it. There is no paperwork. There is no, fingertips ability to go and check whether the promise that somebody has told you matches up to what they have done, right? We believe that is what is possible that the FPO can bring, and of course, focus on relationships and stuff. So I'll go back. I'll just pause very small on our digitization abilities, and we believe digitization should do this. No matter who is providing digitization for our FPOs, we believe we should ask for all of these and more, and we believe that each of these FPOs and each of the farmers should work with institutions to make what they want, what is value for them, to bring that forward and to make sure that those players are building. But we believe that that's the way, or that's the guiding principle of how we should digitize. So from our digitization perspective, we are field first. We believe mobile is the way to go. That is the first computer a lot of our FPO staff, a lot of our farmers will have in their in access to their first computer is a smartphone. So we believe a smartphone first is where we are, and that's how we have built our entire constructs. Information at fingertips, doing business or taking decisions with information is one of the core tenets of what we believe, and that is not what we think we should hold, and we know that creates a lot of crazy dynamics, right? We don't know what it means when we we have, for example, a group of FPOs we are working with, and when we find out the ginger price, we tell this price across all the players. We don't know what it will mean today. That will other players increase the price, will it decrease the price? But we believe that transparency is some sort of a way to go. We believe that ability to distinguish your product from the next person's product is the way to go. We believe teamwork. We believe that we need to make this very easy for the FPO. So we're working with various things, constructs like plug and play catalog. We will build a catalog of all the items so that the FPO can come in and say, these are the 5 things I sell, so that the ease of getting started with digitization is what we are focused on. We do not want people to do double, triple work. We don't want them to do in paper, move it into registers, then move it into tally, then come back and make reports, and their constructs of responsiveness is 15 days, but we should start moving responsiveness to immediately. If a farmer says, I have this produce, they should be able to push this to their buyer, and they should be able to get some at least first cut price to the farmer in a few hours time. Today that's an impossible thing. We've had buyers who says, FPOs won't give me price. I ask them for a price, they'll come back after 2 weeks on a price. I would have already finished my trade, right? So there are challenges in the ecosystem that all of us can only work together to solve. I'll just stop for questions. I'll very quickly move to the last slide. So my I think my credentials are visible, and when you could please reach out offline or via Manage, of course, for any specific questions, etc. But we can. I'll pause here and for questions, please.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much for very informative and as well as on the ground how you are actually working this presentation. And the first and foremost important question, what we have seen from multiple startups or multiple people, we have been told that it's very difficult to get money out of farmers or farmer groups. Whatever the products you make, you should do, or you should look for opportunity to make money on secondary or territory kind of opportunities rather than getting on a subscription basis. What is your opinion on it, and can you please explain?
Just one second. Just one second. My boy is asking to be let into the room. I'll just...
It's okay, no issues, no issues. We have been habituated to all those things.
Yes, my children participate in most of my meetings. We are changing the way the world works. I was saying that it's actually a very important question, and this is not a question only for us. This is a question that all of us have to ponder a little bit on, and try and see what is happening here, right? So I'll just go one step back and say, what does it mean when you pay for something? It means that that business has figured out a way to focus on you as a customer, right? We look at unfortunately what has happened over the last decade in the entire digital online world is we have apps like Facebook. We have.
Can you change my shirt?
Please ask me. Please, I won't call.
No,
Please. Just once.
You can take a quick break, ma'am, no issues. Take a
Yes.
quick break.
Too strong.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. So I was saying, if you look at the way the world has come, you look at things like Facebook, you look at products that are available for us, all of us to use as free. That essentially means that somebody somewhere is paying for it, right? So either you buy a product or you become a product, right? So that's what is basically happening. So we believe that that structure is going to change, and that structure with awareness will change, and perhaps in our ecosystem maybe there is a place where it will start to be free and then it will start to become paid. But what it essentially means that if this is available for farmers and for FPOs to be free, basically what I'm saying is if something is free for a farmer, for an FPO, somebody else is paying for it. Maybe a buyer is paying for it. Maybe the transaction is paying for it. So somebody is paying for it, right? So essentially, to be aware that this is what is going on and to be transparent is how we are approaching this situation. So when we are that is a subscription, every month you pay X rupees for us, we put it across on the table saying that this is what it means. This means that all of this data belongs to you. You are the owners of this, and with permission is where we are. With your permission is when the data is shared by people. Otherwise, it is entirely anonymized. So, for example, when we bring in players like credit, we want to create a transparent construct over there where the credit player asks for certain data, and the FPO is aware what data they are sharing. The minute they are not paying for it, then the way this entire thing will start to get structured is you use it. What comes out of the data, what is the value that comes out of the data is what I get to keep. All right. So I think perhaps in a very idealistic manner, we have moved and said that that's unethical. That is not the right way to go. So we're still moving in constructs of subscription. It is challenging. Nobody is denying the fact that it is going to be challenging, and somebody somewhere has to pay for it. So we've seen initially, for example, for pilots, where until the value is realized a little bit, or the ability to work with this and the promise of this is experienced, sometimes folks like NGOs take payments for it, and after 6 months or after a year, FPO starts to pay for it. or it is like organized, there are groups, CBBOs, which pay for it because there is a certain requirement for data reports, etc., from the government end in order to be a CBBO, and therefore the CBBO makes some fund allocation for this, and then post that the FPO starts to pay for it. But our constructs have to be open and upfront and articulate what has been, what are the pros and cons, and still, if you want to make decisions of different, you're free to do it. These are all difficult decisions all of us have to make. Does that help?
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And one follow-up question on that. Government of India in the second phase of a 10,000 FPOs, the program has just started. They've allocated CBOs, the process is going on close to 1,300 FPOs, regions, everything is identified. So are you doing anything or any part of this process are you involved in, and how you are planning to maximize or utilize this opportunity?
Yes. So the latest guidelines put the vision of the government. So we are very actively seeking and wanting to work with CBBOs who have the ability to reach out and actually create these FPOs. Structurally, there is a lot of community building activities that needs to be undertaken, which we as digitization players don't necessarily do, but we want to participate in those discussions. We want to support each of those activities. So we have already started working for specific reporting requirements that the government of India has asked for CBBOs, and we are ensuring that those reports are easily available at the fingertips whenever the CBBO wants in our tools. So our structure, the way our tool is structured, is that there is a FPO ERP, mini ERP tool. There is ability to talk to multiple players in the in Samudra, so that becomes a lot of market network, marketplace kind of discussions. We also have, with FPO's permission, because CBBOs, FPOs come in together to our platform, there is an implicit and an explicit legal permissions. With those permissions, the CBBOs can access information of the FPOs under them. So essentially, all of these reportings, we are ensuring works based on, or rather is easy to sort of download and submit from the requirements perspective for the 10,000 FPO program. And outside of it, outside of all of these, we're continuously wanting to work with CBBOs to understand what their challenges are, what their success factors are, and to ensure that those things are also available on our tool. For example, we've seen that staff monitoring, right? The CRP, where are the CRP going? How many people are they talking to? How many unique farmers are they talking to? And therefore, over the period of last 3 months, how many of if I have 1,000 farmers in my FPO, how many of those 1,000 farmers have the CRPs actually discussed, talked to, or contacted, etc. Because to do it manually is a humongous and an impossible task. So we have at the fingertips last 3 months, how many unique farmers have your team been able to visit? So these are all I mean, I'm just giving this as an example. These are all things which decision makers with a vision, if they have it at their fingertips, they can guide the FPOs to see that this is the way to go, right? How is the farmer going to work with an FPO? If the farmer only, or if the FPO is able to engage with them on an ongoing basis, is when the farmer trusts the FPO and starts to work with them. So what are all the ways in which they engage? There are digital engagement tools that we've already built, like SMSs and WhatsApp, that go to the farmer. There is an ability to check in their details on an portal that we have already built, but we are also talking about how the workforce can go and visit. So a combination of all of this is what will build trust in the farmer, and therefore they're able to work. Yeah, your question was essentially how can the CBBOs, so what are we doing for CBBOs? We're making sure that their reporting becomes easy. We're making sure that our application is aligned to their goals, which is essentially making the FPO successful.
Okay, Thank you very much, ma'am. I would request our officials and participants if you have any questions. So there is a one in the chat probably. Okay, they're asking for a presentation, not an issue.
Hello, madam.
Yes, yes.
Marketing of the agriculture produce is a main problem in India. The farmers are not getting the fair prices or the good prices. This should happen on a large scale. So what can be done that so that many FPOs or the many farmers can be connected, because India is such a huge country. Our base is of a majority of the population, 60% population is involved in agriculture. So only thing is how the quantum can be increased. What can be your suggestions for that? So that many people will be connected and they will get a good price for their good products.
So there are so many layers of complexity in your question. I will try and address a couple of them. And complexity you're saying is how can the farmer get a better price? And I think this has been, and if you look at, if we pause and step back, that is the objective of a business, right? The objective of every individual is to maximize your benefit, the money at your end, right? So both the farmers and the buyer are perpetually trying to maximize the value that they can retain. And this is in trade, somewhere something will give and somewhere middle people come and agree to a price, right? However, the price is such a fluid thing. Today when we say I want Tata tea, then across the country there is an MRP that is fixed for Tata tea. There is a construct of how much is the logistics to take it from one place to another place, which has all been worked out by one company, and that is what is the benefit for us as a consumer to see what the price is. In our context, we are saying there is farmers across the country they are growing ragi. That ragi is of multiple varieties. Different things happen at the farm, which is maybe there was rain, there was no rain, there was pest attack, there was no pest attack. All of it led into a produce, and there is no way of comparing your bag of ragi with somebody else's bag of ragi to be able to realistically say therefore your bag of ragi is worth this. So this is a very, very complex problem, and as you see up the scale at the farm level, there is more nuances, right? What is the variety? What did you input in your farm? How did you take care of it? What did you harvest? How are you storing it? What is the quality of storage? All of these are at nuances. But as it goes towards the consumer, none of this information no longer remains information, becomes noise to the consumer. So it starts to get aggregated into ragi now becomes fine ragi and medium quality ragi and local ragi. And then it finally becomes into the floor or the hurritu or something that the consumer will finally buy 5 rupees for. And then there's one now layering that we have built, which is, is it organic, natural, or is it regularly grown, right? So there is so much of complexity in this entire chain that is very, very hard to be able to say, did people get value? And we have multiple other complexities, right? The land is owned by, sometimes the land is owned by people, sometimes it is rented. Sometimes you hire labor, sometimes your family becomes your labor, right? And a lot of times, I mean, being a woman, I can say that a lot of times the labor that women do in the fields, in the post harvesting, in the pre harvesting activities is entirely there is no monetary value attributed to that, right? So our situation is pretty tough. It's because of a lot of structural ways in which things have been moving, all of which I believe, right, will change. And there's nothing else to do but to believe that all of this is going to change to become better, right? So then we come back and say, how can the farmer derive value. So it's very complex to be able to help the farmer even understand what is the monetary, in this crop of ragi, what has been the money that you have put, what therefore should you derive. It's a complex problem. It's somewhere something gives and some price comes there. Number two, I think you said, is how can everyone join this network and how can aggregation help? Aggregation is a pot at the end of aggregation is a pot that says that there is a end of this rainbow, there is a pot of gold, right? But aggregation has complexities. Aggregation means that you have to aggregate from 5 people. Where do they bring in? What is the logistics? We've had recently that, hey, fantastic price, you got ginger for 20 rupees. This is great. Please give it to me because I'm buying at 30 rupees. We started talking this discussion and realized that when you take the ginger from North Karnataka to Delhi, we will be more than 34 rupees, right? So it's complex problems. And why do we think aggregation? Why do we think multiple people coming together is the solve? Is because all of us can bring some value to this larger organization. So let's say this entire ecosystem is a large organism. If we say we are all small parts which we can do our best, and bringing our best, we believe digitally, transparently, can go back as what value do I bring to the system, and therefore I will take back that value, and that should actually benefit for all of us. Is the hope at the end of all of this. Does that help?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am.
Please.
Myself, from QVT Nanded. I first of all congratulate you for the nice. My question.
Sir, unable to hear you. Unable to hear you.
Sir, your voice is cracking. Please use the chat, sir, in case you are having any network issues.
देशमुख साहेब, तुमचं ऐकायला येत नाही.
Meanwhile, like, someone else can. Yes, please. Yes, sir. Now, okay, sir. Now it's better. You can ask.
My question to ma'am is that, madam, nowadays on the needs nowadays.
So you'll have to drop it in chat because your voice is completely breaking.
So I will drop my questions.
That is better, sir. Meanwhile, other participants, anybody have any questions? One question or one couple of questions we'll take before we take a quick break. Ajit is here, our next speaker. So we'll. Any other questions? Probably we'll see the question in chat, ma'am. Then we'll address and we'll take a break. Ravi Parmar has how to approach to FPO by CBOD. Okay. How do you approach generally, ma'am? How do you approach FPO? What is your process? Can you please quickly come to who will be your first point of contact? I would rather put it this way. Who will be your first point of contact? You are on mute, ma'am.
Thanks. So typically we do talk to the CEOs. And in the way the FPO is structured, the CEOs at least are able to give information about the status of their FPO, talk to the board themselves, and see if digitization is of benefit for. They're able to convince the board that digitization is of benefit. So typically we tend to speak to CEOs. We also speak with CBBOs or POPIs, as we said, who are in charge of creating or nurturing these FPOs. So there is definitely discussions with the CBBOs as well.
Thank you very much. So we'll do one thing. Now we have at 11:53 almost. So Ajit sir, we'll take a quick break. 1 minute. 1 minute. I think the question has come. We'll address and we'll break and we'll come back at 12. What are the various innovative techniques nowadays on a pandemic background to approach FPO? So probably let me read this. Now that physical movement is restricted, we never know. We cannot say that I would wait for a month or two, then I will do my activity. We need to strategize the plan in such a way that it should be done, taking adversaries into the action also, ma'am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is one of the things that we've been talking to RFPOs as well, that do not stop your work in, because of COVID. See how we can leverage partners. Look, maybe if you're able to aggregate, we can reorganize the logistics to pick up from the farm gate itself.